Merry Christmas. We are back now with the remainder of Jason's Barn here on Christmas Day. I told everybody about the babies coming back, why some of them had to come back to Ontario over the next couple of weeks, which is fine because for me to go back and forth, I'm going to have the truck and trailer around with all these tests and crap that they got going on right now. So, where were we? We talked about Purple Aura a couple of times. First off, why she can't come home to Ontario. She got way too much money made and no real place to race her. I know there's going to be a lot of people saying, well, Anthony, they're going to rate 3-year-old filly races. Yeah, Purple Aura is a nice filly, but at the same time, I'm not hooking onto a bunch of American-bred 3-year-olds that are getting ready for the stake races in March and April in Ontario. I know everybody thinks that she's, a beautiful, and she is a wonderful filly and a very nice filly, but she's not a Grand Circuit filly. So, old Aura, our big girl, gonna prep her for Ohio. I guess when it comes to these Ohio breds, Jason and I have talked about this quite a bit. When you look at that series at the start, I forget the name, but the one in March, it's a long way to October, right? So there's no rush to have her ready for. I think the way we approached it last year was a little different with my Jazz because she got hurt, right? There was that weird injury that she had. The way we approached it was quite simple. If the horses are ready to go, then they're ready to go, and if they're not, then we'll miss them. The Scarlet and Gray is the one that they'll give you an invite to, or you got to win your way in. Hackett, the Hackett is what I'm talking about. So if they don't get sick and they don't have any hiccups, they don't have any speed bumps on their way back to the races, then yes, they can be ready for the Hackett. But there's no super rush to get them ready for it. That will be our first stake race in Ohio of 2022. It is every year, the Hackett. But at the same time, we want to keep an eye on everything else that's going on also. So, where were we? Purple Aura. We talked about her. Resolute Bay looks good on the track. He's just jogging him back. Very happy with him. Rose above it. He's a little bummed he didn't get in. He didn't get in the other day. Now, Rosie's a weird horse, right? Jason doesn't like Rosie. And a lot of people don't like Rosie because he can pull. But you got to know him. If you jog him the right way of the track, like the training way, really quiet and slow, he'll stay quiet. But when you go to train him, he likes to get at it sometimes. And Amy trained him by himself the other day. He made a little break, and I said, well, I can tell you why he made a little break with no hobbles on, because we trained him back a number of times on the gallop, and he can run like a deer. So I turned him in to train him the other day, and he put his head down. He's playing around, and he went into the gallop. He wanted to play. He wanted to run. And I let him run. I trained him mile and 2-2 at Tomiko Training Center on the dead gallop, which sounds fast. It's not super fast, but it's a good mile for him, and he was happy after. He was really happy after. So I was hoping we'd get him in Monday. The class isn't written until Thursday, but that good running session, at least on Thursday, should have him ready to go for next Thursday. So and Sue. Head her up to the vet again. Nothing new found. She's on the right line, but she did that all summer. She's got some kind of worrisome knees on her. They're kind of used up a little bit because she had a rough life. She's been hard on herself. I think we got her now, but it took a long time for us to get her where we liked her. And, where she came from before, that big barn type scenario for a horse like So and Sue just wasn't going to fit, I don't think. And, I like what I see now, and I hope she stays sound. I know the vet had commented a couple of times her knees were kind of used up, a little rough looking. Could she use some time off? Maybe. I'm thinking, though, we'll probably, because she doesn't look tired on the track, we'll probably race her, try and patch away, and get her to where we're really comfortable with her, where she's comfortable, and then at some point, I would imagine, maybe turn her over also. She's not a horse we're going to breed or keep very much longer into her 4-year-old season. I think she's going to be a good filly for us right through till March, and then at that point we'll probably look to maybe move her in the public domain. He said, just like an angel came down and kissed me on Christmas Day, this drink. Oh my God. Very good. So and Sue, Stonebridge Dolce, she may make a return to Ontario also. There's a filly with any of the horses that don't have any wins are candidates to come back. You look at the horses like Purple Aura, Sweet on Pete, they just got too much money and too many wins. Slim Jimmy, those horses aren't going to be coming back to Ontario. Makes no sense to do that. So keep them right there in Ohio. Where the other side of that coin, Stonebridge Dolce doesn't have any wins, so she might be one of the ones that make her way back. I know that Amy and Stonebridge Dolce have a love-hate relationship. When she's crabby, she's not a likable horse, but when she's not crabby, deep down there's kind of a nice horse in there. You just got to really kind of rub away all that dirt and rough exterior, and you get this she's actually a nice filly underneath. So Amy, there's a love-hate relationship there. Amy's like, don't bring her home. I'm like, you love her, now stop. So Stonebridge Dolce may make a return to Ontario. Stonebridge Simba may actually make a return to Ontario. I don't know if he'll stay there, bouncing around those classes. That series he's in right now is tough. But we couldn't get him in the bottom trot because he had too much money on the money cap. So where do we go with Stonebridge Simba? I know that Mark Beckwith was angling for a horse for Plainridge, I believe. I know that Dover may be a place. Greg, I like when our analytical guys are always on the ball. Larry and Greg always come up with ideas of where we can send the horses and what we can do with them. Stonebridge Simba is one of those horses. Illinois is another one also. They'll be opening up soon, or have opened up. Can he do out there? What's the landscape look like? He could always stay in Northfield too. He can do in the class. He was second in the class just above that. I don't think he can do in the Open. He wants no part of yes. But anywhere underneath there, good money, good racing, is that the place to leave him also? I know that somebody said, well, we'll put him in a claimer. I'm not putting him in a claimer yet. I think the horse has still got lots of racing ahead of him. I see him every so often. He'll bounce out and go a good mile for us. I don't want to put him in a claimer right now. So if you're out there and you're one of those people saying, I want him in a claimer, sell your shares, because he's not going in a claimer for a little while just yet. And I might make a liar of myself. If we look at the landscape and there's nowhere to race Stonebridge Simba, I won't hesitate to put him in a claimer. I just think he's a pretty useful horse for us, and has been for a very long time. When you look at, somebody brought up Cruising in Style, well, you sold him. I don't think Cruising in Style is as good a horse as Stonebridge Simba. Now, I'm sure you're going to have some arguments from other people in other states about that, but when it comes to what the horses can do, I guess they're from both sides. From a mathematical standpoint, the ability to race and race for good money is higher in Northfield than it is in a place like Saratoga, and the competition at Northfield is 100% tougher than it is at Saratoga. So it had nothing to do with more than Cruising in Style was a horse that Michelle and Mark wanted to go up and down the classes with, and I don't really want a horse to go up and down the classes with. I want a horse that can be in classes he can do in most of the time. Now, I guess I'm talking to both sides of my mouth when I say that, because I said Stonebridge Simba can do in those classes. Obviously, if you get up high, you have to worry about dropping back down. I would like a contingency for when he does get up high, and if that ends up being that optional 25 or 30 claimer, I suppose I'd be amenable to that. But again, that's why I'm saying, what else is out there? Where else can he go? If he can go racing an Open in Illinois for $15,000-$16,000 a week, then that's where he should go. But we'll look into that. There's always a dialogue when it comes to our clients, it comes to you, when it comes to these horses. Stonebridge Simba is always a hot topic when it comes to what we should do and where we should go. Let's not run into Amy's car. Let's not run into that car. And we have docked. Swan's Honey. Yes, I hooked a wheel the other day. I want to say, if I wanted to put my Matlock litigation hat on, I believe I could have been placed first, I suppose. I thought that maybe Paul McKenzie came out a little more than I came in, but we did hook wheels, and that's that. But she was 1,000% a winner otherwise, and I think she'll manhandle that class. She's a nice mare to drive, and she's going to turn into a nice mare for us. Swan's Honey. Oh, delightful. Sweet on Pete had a great year last year. I suspect she's going to come back with a great year again. Here's a filly that I don't want to overload with starts. So not really somebody where, if you're out there saying Hackett, I want to have her ready for the Hackett. I don't want to have her ready for the Hackett. I'm going to take my time with this filly. She's a big girl. She's not going to have, as I said, an abundance of starts. You saw what happened when she got tired towards the end of the year last year. Now, the track was terrible in Delaware. That was unfair to her, and then she made the break in the final. So I guess that's an unfair argument. But at the same time, I just don't want to push her and bug her. It's a big filly, big bone filly. We were very lucky to have her good last year. She had a very good year for us, and I think she'll have a very good year this year. Managing her properly will be the key for 2022. Taiwan On looks awesome now. She's grown up huge. Growing up huge, looks great, very, very happy with Taiwan on. Tour de Lindy, I love this horse too, like Swan's Honey. Love Tour de Lindy, he does everything nice on the track, just a beautiful horse to be around. Now, I said he'd win his next start. I should maybe take my foot out of my mouth first and realize that he could have drawn in tough, and he did. So I think he'll race well. I think Ronnie will drive him a little more aggressively. Well, he drove him pretty aggressive in the final. But I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this guy. Twinbee Habanero jumped on his foot. The stitches ripped a little bit, but they're back jogging him very quietly and easy. He's going to be ready March or April, guys. He's just too big. Unbeatable Kemp looks awesome. Here's a horse with 1 win. Found his way back to Ontario. We're going to have a lot of fun with this guy, too. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Really like what I see from Unbeatable Kemp. Victor Cruz is actually back with us now. So technically, he's not really in Jason's care, but he is in Ontario. He's a baby. Looked good in the open house. Very happy with Victor Cruz. Voyage of Ice and Fire. Listen, we all know the score with Voyage of Ice and Fire. We had huge, huge high hopes for him. Paid him into the series, the expensive series at the start of the season. Really thought he'd grow into a 56, 57 trotter, and did not. You know, really sputtered throughout the summer, and he's on thin ice. He's going to have to get his game together, or I'm going to put him in that sale. There's a number of these horses, I'm not just talking about Jason's barn. There's a number of horses that will be entered in the Ohio sale in February in anticipation of maybe a lackluster return to the races, in which case you have to enter them 4 or 5 weeks ahead of the sale. You have to put them in 4 or 5 weeks ahead. So in that 4 or 5 weeks, they would get to the races, and then you'd say, oh, I like this horse or don't like that horse. It's too late to put them in the sale if you haven't already, and it's very easy to take them out. So Voyage of Ice and Fire will more than likely end up in that sale. Horse that won't end up in that sale is Walk on the Moon. He's back tomorrow. He's back to Northfield Park tomorrow, and he's back jogging, getting ready to finish off his remainder of his winter racing session. For the stable, it would be Northfield, Pennsylvania, or wherever we want to race him. His horse fits anywhere. You go to Yonkers for that matter. White Tiger, he's buried on Monday. What are we going to do with White Tiger on Monday? I suspect 1, keep him trotting. 2, a little check would be nice, but we'll see. He's found his way again into the open trot. He deserves to be there, into the open trot. Will to Win Hanover's been training great. Amy said she trained good again the other day. Amy said she went 1 mile and 28. I said fine, but you got to start going 1.5 miles with her now. So she's still at least 5 weeks, 6 weeks away from the races. Yes is 48 hours away from the races. He's racing, picked to win the Open. Picked to win the Open at Northfield Park on Monday. So interested to see what will take place there. I think, I don't know if he can win the Open. The problem is speeds from the outside. So if you got the 4-hole and you make front and they keep coming, now you're sitting second or third with Yes. Can he beat Pure Chance? I think that's named Pure Chance. And Chris Lem's good horse from a first over or sitting in behind them trip? No. Winning Shadow's a killer. Straight up killer. He's a better horse than Yes. So Winning Shadow will likely be the horse to beat. Pure Chance didn't look great her last start. I'd like to see Ronnie blast Yes out of there to the front. He's going to have to let Winning Shadow go. Winning Shadow, Chris Lambs knows he's a good driver. He's not stupid. He's going to put him right in a position to win, which will be on the front. If we're lucky, we're sitting in the 2-hole, and I don't think we can beat him. But that's why we race them. We'll find out. Yes raced good last week. I expect to come back with another good race on Monday. So that's Jason's barn. Listen, we got to drive to Amy's parents, so we'll have time to get through the other barns. We'll have time to get through. No, the barns are done. The 2-year-olds, the 3-year-olds are racehorses. We'll get through them all. I will talk to you all very, very soon.